Good morning and welcome to new bike day, new CRUX day. I'm pretty fired up. I think you guys should be too. It's good, man. It's fun, it's fast, holy guacamole, and it's light as all get out too. Before we dive too deep into the my thoughts, my opinions, I'm not gonna bore you too much with the nitty-gritty details, but I'm gonna cover a couple quick things. But one maximum thing I want to talk about is there's a lot of talk about gravel. All right, this is still absolutely a cross bike. All I want to say, if nothing else on the internet settles in for you, let me be the voice of reason for the cross community and tell you this is still absolutely a cross bike. It is trending towards gravel, but it's just is a little bit gravel, and so a lot of cross. I love it. It still responds and handles and is quick and nimble and snappy like a cross bike should be and has always been. It is still an absolutely a CRUX, so remember that, okay? Now, yes, it's getting a little bit more gravel. Yes, we've got tires that can fit up, or it can fit up to a size 47 tire. Yes, it's a little bit more relaxed. Do me a favor, don't read the numbers. Don't read into it too much. Don't form a preconceived notion on what it's going to be based off of that geo chart, okay? Get out and ride it. You're going to love it. If you are racing cross on it, it's going to perform well for you. If you're looking to race gravel on this thing, it's going to do pretty well for you. Couple things I would say in my first-hand experience with it thus far. When I first got the opportunity to ride the bike before it came out, it was delivered to me and they said, hey, just ride it. We're not gonna tell you anything. Just go ride it. So I rode it with tubulars, 33s. My race set up like this. I rode it with 35C tubeless tires for kind of gravelish, and I rode it with some big 42 tracers on it that were on some wide rims. They were almost like a 45. I will say that there was a point where it was absolutely performing better and better and better with each tire size, and then sort of, for me, personal preference, reached a cap, okay? I think that this bike in the gravel category should really be raced on tires up to 38. I'd say like a 35 all-road tire would be killer, 32 road tire, killer, 38 gravel tire, killer, and then above that, to me, started to kind of slow it down. Started to steer a little bit slow, started to sort of have a little bit of some extra movement required into the handlebars. And so that's where I feel like the Diverge really takes off, is at that 38 and up range. So think of this as like your guaranteed race bike, fast, light pinner, and then that Diverge is like that backcountry exploration gravel bike, pushing it a little bit further. So Midwest gravel, absolutely. West Coast gravel, maybe leaning a little bit more towards the Diverge. Let's work from rear to front on just a couple of things that may have been a little harder to find in the tech info and specs like there would be out on the interwebs. I'm not going to bore you too much with it. You can dive in, you can go deep. Here I have a pro frame set. This is going to be the 10R carbon, okay? It is mechanical and electronic capable. I will say it really is only meant to be a mechanical system as a 1x, okay? So mechanical 1x only. You can do electronic 2x. Keep that in mind. Out back, we've got traditional 12x142 axles, no super boost, no road boost, none of that stuff, which I'm super stoked. Direct mount 140 in the rear, external seat clamp. I'm a big fan of this. When I was using the internal seat collar on the previous CRUX, I found maybe just for me with moving and traveling and taking the post in and out a lot is a little bit more of a hassle. And I think in the off-road conditions, it started to kind of creak and bind and make some noise over time. So really stoked on that external seat collar, classic, traditional. You're gonna see this bike follows a lot of lines of the Athos. In fact, I got to ride this before the Athos came out, and I knew nothing of the Athos, and then as soon as the Athos came out, I realized the lineage, okay? So yes, super light, super refined, stripped down, just like the Athos would be. 3 bottle cages, 1, 2, and 3 on the bottom. So we still got the opportunity to race cross with the bottle, and then gravel gets you some extra down below. But you'll see no extra bag mounts, no extra fanciness on the top tube, on the forks. We're going fast with this bike, right? Working our way up, you got an internal cable routing port if you want to run that as a mechanical system. Up front, monster clearance. I'm really stoked on the mud clearance on this bike. which equates to tire clearance. So really, really good. Super pinner, 12x100 front axle, and the front brake caliper is a 160, 180 flat mount, same as the Diverge, okay? So if you're running it as a cross bike like I currently am, we're gonna have to run it as a 160 on the small front end, so no more 140 front rotor possibilities. Just keep that in mind. It doesn't run a special brake adapter like the Athos does. Simple SRAM or Shimano direct mount, the industry spec for flat mount. The Athos runs a specific one that's designed for that bike. Nothing up there. Now, the weight question. How much does this bike weigh? I think I've got it on a somewhat, it's definitely a high end, but a somewhat conservative build. I've got a force axis drivetrain, chain cassette, rear derailleur. I do have a red series crankset, 4 shifters, aluminum bar, 303 tubulars, zip cockpits, and a expert level power saddle on the bike. This bike right here weighs in pedals, everything, at 15.5 pounds. 15.5 pounds. We have an S-Works on the floor with all red and in the lightest setup possible out of the box. That sucker's coming in at 15 pounds, 2 ounces. And I think we still have opportunity to cut even more weight off of the bike. So you could be riding a gravel race bike or a cross race bike at its maximum capacity in the 14 pounds. What? Like 14 pounds. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. So this bike is ridiculous. I'm super excited about this bike. Go check it out at your local retailer. If you're here in Sacramento, we have them in stock, okay? They're here, so pretty freaking sick. Hit us up. If you've got questions, leave me a comment below. I'm really excited about this bike, as I've said about 10 times over, and I would love to answer more of your questions. If you've got, if you wanna know about my personal ride setups, experiences with the bike, if you wanna know more on the tech side that you can't find somewhere on the internet, hit me up, I'll get those answered for you, or give us a call. We're at the shop, we're here to help you out, and man, I'm fired up on this bike. The CRUX, sick, super sick. All right guys, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for tuning in. This is your first look at the all new CRUX. Check it out.